I buried my husband 6 months ago. Yesterday I saw him alive. I had stood at his grave until my legs went numb, until the cold stone beneath my fingers felt warmer than my own skin. The rain had soaked through my coat, shivering against my spine, but I didn't care. I thought I knew what an ending was. I thought I understood the absolute, uncompromising finality of death. When the universe closes a door, locks it, and buries the key, you are supposed to accept it. You are supposed to learn how to exist in the quiet, hollow spaces left behind. But then, yesterday, the impossible happened. I was walking through the crowded city square, surrounded by the gray blur of 1,000 faces rushing nowhere. And then the world stopped. The noise of the traffic, the chatter of the crowd, the ringing in my own ears, it all vanished. Because there, standing 20 feet away, turned in profile, was a silhouette I knew better than my own reflection. The exact tilt of his shoulders, the way he stood with his hands deep in his pockets. The coat I had bought him 3 winters ago. My heart didn't just beat, it detonated. It hammered against my ribs so violently I thought my chest would splinter. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I just ran. I tore through the crowd, shoving past strangers, my throat tight, my eyes burning, desperate to reach him, desperate to touch him, desperate to pull him back from the void. I reached out, my hand trembling, and grabbed his shoulder. The man turned around. It wasn't him. It was a stranger. A stranger with confused, kind eyes staring back at a woman who looked like she was breaking apart in the middle of the street. I mumbled an apology. I stepped back. The crowd swallowed him up. But as I stood there alone, gasping for air on the sidewalk, my hands shaking uncontrollably, a terrifying and profound realization washed over me. The ghost I was chasing wasn't him. The life I suddenly felt rushing back into my veins, the adrenaline, the desperation, the absolute fire of wanting something so badly it physically hurt, that wasn't him either. That was me. For the first time in 6 months, I felt my own heartbeat. For the first time in 6 months, the numbness shattered. And right there on a dirty city sidewalk, I realized the horrifying truth of what I had been doing. I hadn't just been mourning his death. I had been systematically, deliberately, day by day, burying myself alive. And right now, I want to ask you a question that might make you uncomfortable. I want you to strip away the excuses, strip away the stories you tell your friends, and look honestly at your own life. How many of you are standing in a graveyard today? I am not talking about a physical cemetery with manicured grass and polished headstones. I am talking about the graveyard of your own making, the graveyard inside your mind. How many of you are standing right now over the grave of a dream that collapsed? Over a business that went under? Over a relationship that shattered your trust? Over a version of yourself you swore you would become 10 years ago, but somehow lost along the way? You have let the cold stone of your failures become warmer than your own skin. You have grown so comfortable with your pain, so intimately familiar with your disappointment, that it feels like home. You have built a house in the valley of your regrets. Think about your daily routine. You wake up every single morning, and what is the first thing you do? You visit the graves. You replay the moments you fell short. You run your hands over the jagged edges of the memories where people betrayed you, where opportunities slipped through your fingers, where you didn't have the courage to take the leap. You water the dead flowers of what could have been. And you stand there. You stand there in the freezing rain of your own mind until your spirit goes completely numb. You convince yourself that the best parts of your story are already written. You convince yourself that because you tried and failed, because you loved and lost, because life knocked the wind out of you, you are no longer meant for greatness. You tell yourself that survival is enough. But mere survival is an insult to the potential sleeping inside you. We live in a society that romanticizes suffering. We wear our trauma like armor. We bond over our brokenness. We tell ourselves that because life was unfair, we are entitled to sit on the sidelines and watch the rest of our days pass by. We create incredibly elaborate, brilliant, bulletproof excuses about why we cannot succeed, why we cannot trust again, why we cannot rebuild. And those excuses become the bricks of our prison cells. We lock ourselves inside, hand the keys to our past, and complain about the dark. But I am here to tell you the lock is broken. The heavy iron door you think is keeping you trapped? It is wide open. You are the only one choosing to stay in the cell. What happens when the ghost wakes up? What happens when the ambition you swore was dead looks you dead in the eyes and demands an answer? When I felt my heart exploding in my chest on that street corner, it wasn't just a panic attack. It was a resurrection. The universe reached down, grabbed me by the collar, and violently shook the numbness out of my bones. It forced me to feel the raw, undeniable, terrifying current of life that was still surging through my body. And that same current is in you, right now. As you listen to this, whether you are driving or working out or sitting alone in your room, there is a fire inside you that refuses to go out. The energy of what you love, the raw power of what you dream, the devastating capability of your true potential. It never actually dies. It just goes dormant. It hibernates beneath the ice of your self-doubt, waiting for you to be brave enough to strike a match. You have to stop negotiating with your ghosts. You have to stop making deals with your regrets. Life is not asking you to forget what you lost. It is not asking you to pretend the pain wasn't real. It is violently, desperately demanding that you remember what you still have. Look at your hands. I mean it. Stop whatever you are doing for a fraction of a second and look at your hands. These hands were not made to cling to cold stones in a graveyard. These hands were not perfectly engineered by nature to wipe away tears of permanent defeat. These hands were made to build empires. They were made to fight back. They were made to grip the steering wheel of your destiny and violently force it back onto the road. They tell you time heals all wounds. It is the biggest lie we are ever sold. Time heals absolutely nothing. Time is completely indifferent to your existence. It simply ticks away, eating your youth, eating your days, eating your chances. What heals you is what you do with that time. What heals you is the conscious, brutal, agonizingly beautiful decision to turn your back on the graveyard and start walking toward the light. What heals you is the absolute refusal to let the worst thing that happened to you be the last thing that defines you. I know how heavy it is. I am not speaking to you from a place of perfection. I am speaking to you from the trenches. I know what it feels like when the weight of the world is pressing down on your chest, so hard that just opening your eyes in the morning feels like moving a mountain. I know the dark, suffocating hours of the night when the silence screams at you. When your insecurities form a choir and sing you to sleep, telling you that you are not enough, that the market is too saturated, that you are too old, too young, too broke, too broken. But that voice in the dark is a liar. And it is time you stop taking orders from a liar. The pain you are feeling right now, the frustration, the anger, it is not an anchor meant to drown you. It is the friction required to sharpen you. Do you understand how a sword is forged? It is not gently molded. It is thrust into the fire. It is beaten with a hammer. It is plunged into freezing water. Over and over and over again until the impurities are burned away and all that is left is unbreakable steel. Every tear you have cried, every moment of absolute despair, every time you were knocked onto the concrete and tasted the dirt, it was all gathering inside you. It was forging a resilience that cannot be bought in a store, cannot be faked on social media, and cannot be broken by anyone. You have survived every single bad day of your life. You have a 100% track record of making it through the storm. Why on earth would you doubt yourself now? This is where the shift happens. This is the climax of your story. Stop looking at your scars as evidence of your weakness. Your scars are the undeniable proof of your survival. They are the battle wounds of a warrior who refused to stay down. The very fact that you are searching for motivation, the very fact that you are listening to these words, means there is still fight left in you. There is still a spark in the ashes. Blow on that spark. Feed it. Throw the dry wood of your past failures onto it and let it burn. Protect that fire with your life. Let the anger of your unfulfilled potential rise up. Let the frustration of playing small finally boil over into action. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the architect of your comeback. But a comeback does not happen by accident. It does not happen because you wished for it. It happens when you finally draw a line in the sand, look your demons in the face and scream, "No more. No more living in the past. No more apologizing for my ambition. No more shrinking myself to make other people comfortable. No more letting my history dictate my destiny. No more settling for average when I know I was born for greatness." Think about the people looking up to you. Think about the family that needs your strength. Think about the legacy you are going to leave behind. Fast forward your life 5 years from now. You are standing on the summit of your success. You are looking back at this exact moment. What decision do you want to have made today? Do you want to be the person who stayed in the graveyard, paralyzed by the cold stone? Or do you want to be the person who took a deep breath, wiped the dirt from their knees, looked up at the sky, and walked back into the arena. It is time to resurrect your dreams. You thought they were dead, but they were only sleeping. When I chased that ghost through the city streets, I didn't find the past. I found my future. I found the furious, beautiful demand of my own soul refusing to be extinguished. And that exact same demand is inside you right now. It is beating in your chest like a war drum, and no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to hand you $1 million. No one is coming to do the push-ups for you, to read the books for you, to build the business for you, or to wipe your tears. It is you against you. And that is the most empowering truth in the universe. Because if you are the only one holding yourself back, it means you are the only one with the power to set yourself absolutely free. Stop waiting for tomorrow. Tomorrow is a myth. Stop waiting for Monday. Stop waiting for a magical surge of motivation. Motivation is a fleeting emotion. It comes and goes like the wind. Discipline is a lifestyle. Motivation gets you out the door, but obsession, dedication, and a relentless, unbreakable will are what carry you across the finish line when your muscles are screaming and your mind is begging you to quit. Make a choice today. Choose to live. Choose to fight. Choose to honor everything you have lost by making the absolute most of what you have left. Step away from the cold stone. Step out of the shadows. The sun is shining, the world is waiting, and your new life begins the exact second you decide to claim it. Now get up, step forward, and show them exactly who you are. If this message woke something up inside of you today, do not let that fire die out. Hit that subscribe button right now and join a community of people who refuse to settle for average. Leave a comment below with the words, "I am alive," to lock in your commitment today. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, smash that like button, and remember, your story is far from over. I will see you in the next video. Now get back to work. You made the choice. You stepped out of the graveyard. You felt that massive, earth-shattering surge of adrenaline when you finally remembered who you are. But I need to tell you the truth about what happens next. I need to warn you about the morning after the awakening. Because the morning after is the most dangerous time of your entire life. You wake up, the adrenaline is gone, the music has stopped playing, and the cinematic moment is over. The room is quiet. The air is cold. And that heavy, familiar weight tries to settle right back onto your chest. The old version of you, the one that loved the comfort of the graveyard, whispers in your ear. Tells you that yesterday was just a fluke. It tells you to hit the snooze button. It tells you that one more day of rest won't hurt. This is the exact second where 99% of people fail. This is the exact fraction of a heartbeat where dreams are either violently protected or quietly surrendered. Are you going to be someone who just gets motivated, or are you going to be someone who gets disciplined? Motivation is a liar. It is a fair weather friend. It shows up when the sun is shining, when you feel rested, when the crowd is cheering. But where is motivation when it is 4 a.m.? It is pouring rain outside, your body aches, and your bank account is empty. Motivation is fast asleep. Discipline is the only thing that will save your life. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't care if you are sad, if you are tired, or if your heart is broken. Discipline simply looks at the mountain in front of you and says, "Pick up the shovel and start digging." You have to fall in love with the unglamorous, silent, repetitive reality of the grind. You want the top of the mountain, but you despise the dirt on the trail. You want the incredible physique, the thriving business, the unshakable mindset, but you complain about the very friction required to build them. You have to stop looking for the shortcut. There is no elevator to the life you want. The stairs are right in front of you, and they are steep and they are dark, and you have to climb them one agonizing step at a time. Think about a master sculptor staring at a massive, ugly block of marble. They don't just tap it once and expect a masterpiece to appear. They take a chisel and a hammer and they strike. Over and over and over again. Thousands of strikes. Tens of thousands of tiny, seemingly insignificant blows. It looks like nothing is happening. It looks like a waste of time. But the sculptor knows the truth. The masterpiece is already inside the stone. They just have to be relentless enough to carve away everything that isn't the vision. You are the marble, and you are the sculptor. Every time you wake up early, that is a strike of the hammer. Every time you read a page instead of scrolling on your phone, strike. Every time you walk away from toxic people, strike. Every time you choose the hard path over the easy excuse, strike. It is going to be lonely. I need you to accept that right now. When you start leveling up, you are going to leave people behind. The people who were comfortable with the broken, insecure, stagnant version of you are going to feel threatened by your evolution. They will call you obsessed. They will call you crazy. They will tell you that you are working too hard, that you need to relax, that you are taking life too seriously. Let them talk. Lions do not lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. You cannot take everyone with you to the top. The altitude is too high, and the air is too thin for people who refuse to climb. You have to be willing to walk alone for a season so you can finally meet the people who are walking in the same direction. Look in the mirror. Look directly into your own eyes. Who is staring back at you? Is it someone who cowers at the first sign of adversity? Or is it someone who looks at the storm and says, "I am the storm"? You have to develop an aggressive, unapologetic zero-tolerance policy for your own excuses. No one cares that it is hard. No one cares that you are tired. The marketplace doesn't care about your feelings. The universe rewards action, not intention. You can have the greatest ideas in the world, the most beautiful dreams, the purest heart, but if you do not execute, it means absolutely nothing. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. Which weight do you want to carry for the rest of your life? Imagine reaching the end of your days, lying in a hospital bed, and the ghosts of your unfulfilled potential gather around you. The ideas you never acted on, the gifts you never used, the love you never gave. They look at you with angry, sorrowful eyes and they say, "We came to you. Only you could have brought us to life. And now we must die with you." Do not let that be your story. Do not go to your grave with your best work still inside you. Empty the tank. Every single day. Give this life every ounce of energy, passion, and fight that you possess. When you hit a wall, you don't turn around. You run through the wall. When the world knocks you down, you don't just get back up. You get back up, look the world dead in the eye and say, "Is that all you've got?" This is your moment. This is your one magnificent fleeting shot at existence. There are no rewinds. There are no practice runs. The clock is ticking, and the sand is falling through the hourglass. Stop playing small. Stop hiding your greatness. Stop apologizing for the fire inside your chest. Let it burn. Let it consume your doubts. Let it light up the darkness. You are entirely responsible for the rest of your life. Take the wheel. Own the outcome. Build the masterpiece. Now take a deep breath, step out into the world, and make them remember your name. You have fought the graveyard. You have survived the grueling, silent grind of the morning after. But there is one final boss, one ultimate enemy that you must defeat if you ever want to taste true freedom. And the terrifying part? This enemy doesn't sleep. This enemy knows all your secrets, all your insecurities, and every single thing you are afraid of. Because this enemy lives right behind your own eyes. The greatest war you will ever fight is not against the economy. It is not against your competitors. It is not against the people who betrayed you. The greatest war you will ever fight is the invisible, relentless, bloody battle happening inside your own mind. Have you ever sat alone in a quiet room, staring at a blank screen or looking out a window, and suddenly felt a wave of absolute dread? That voice whispers, "Who do you think you are? You are not smart enough for this. You started too late. They are going to find out you are a fraud." That is the inner critic. And it is the most lethal assassin of human potential in the history of the world. It doesn't use weapons. It uses your own memories against you. It plays a highlight reel of every time you stumbled, every time you looked foolish, every time you were rejected. It twists your desire for greatness into a feeling of arrogance. It disguises your fear as logic. But I need you to understand a fundamental truth right now. A truth that will change the trajectory of your entire life. Just because you have a thought does not mean the thought is true. Your brain is a survival machine, not a success machine. It is hardwired to keep you safe, to keep you in the comfort zone, to protect you from the unknown. Whenever you try to step out of the familiar darkness and into the light, your brain hits the panic button. It sends out a flood of doubt to drag you back into the cave. You have been taking orders from a frightened, ancient part of your biology. You have been letting the passenger drive the car. It is time to rip the steering wheel out of its hands. It is time to stage a hostile takeover of your own mind. When that voice tells you that you are going to fail, I want you to talk back to it. I want you to say, "Maybe. But I would rather die trying to fly than live my entire life suffocating in a cage." When it tells you that you are not enough, you look it dead in the eye and say, I am exactly what I need to be for this exact moment. You have to become the undisputed master of your internal dialogue. The words you speak to yourself in the dark become the reality you walk into in the light. If you constantly tell yourself you are broken, you will find evidence to prove it. But if you start commanding your mind, if you start declaring that you are capable, resilient, and unstoppable, your brain will have no choice but to start building that reality. Imagine a fortress. Your mind is that fortress. For years, you have left the gates wide open. You have let every negative comment, every toxic opinion, every shadow of self-doubt march right in and set up camp in your living room. Today you close the gates. Today you pull up the drawbridge. You stand at the walls of your own consciousness and you declare, "None shall pass." You become fiercely, violently protective of your energy. You stop consuming garbage that feeds your fears. You stop entertaining conversations that shrink your vision. You start guarding your mind like it is the most valuable real estate on the planet, because it is. Everything you have ever wanted is waiting for you on the other side of your own mind. The peace, the power, the impact, the legacy, it is all sitting right there, just beyond the wall of your self-doubt. You are not a mistake. You are not a coincidence. You are a once-in-a-history-of-the-universe event. There has never been anyone with your exact fingerprint, your exact mind, your exact story, and there never will be again. You have a moral obligation to the universe to unleash everything you have inside of you. So rise. Rise above the chatter. Rise above the fear. Silence the critic and turn up the volume on the champion. Let the world feel the full, unrestrained, terrifying power of a human being who has completely conquered themselves. You are the author of this story. And the next chapter? The next chapter is going to be legendary. If you felt this in your core today, if this video woke up the warrior inside of you, then do not leave this channel the same person you were when you arrived. Hit that subscribe button right now and join a family of relentless dreamers who are taking back control of their lives. Drop a comment below and type, "I am the author," to cement your commitment to your new chapter. Smash that like button. Share this with someone who is fighting their own silent battles, and remember, your mind is your greatest weapon. Keep it sharp. I will see you in the next video. Now go conquer your world.